What is a secret you know about someone that they have no idea you know about? NSFW. I know that my boss doesn't stay late at work like his wife and everyone else thinks. I saw him leave work 2 or 3 times before me and decided to follow him. I don't know that I can even type this without feeling terrible. He's been playing MTG at the game shop until 10 PM 3 nights a week. I still have my old roommate FB account logged in on my iPad. Let him borrow it. He left without paying 2 weeks rent and cleaning his room. So I periodically go on, read his messaged, laugh at his life, and like one page each time I'm there. After snooping on a coworker's Facebook, I found out his ex-wife is married to his boss. His boss is raising his kid. The guy is a sheet employee, so I assume he only works here so his boss can get that child support. Make friends with him. That is a boiling pot. You do not want to be there when it boils over. I know a friend who prostitutes secretly. I know this because I saw her going out with a client once in a different city, which I was visiting to pick up used furniture from a Craigslist ad. One of my friends likes to dress up as a princess and have tea parties in his backyard. And he dances with cardboard cutouts of Justin Timberlake. I met this cool, funny dude after an audition. We even ate lunch with some other auditioners right afterwards. Had a lot of laughs. Great guy. He's married and told a story. In a hoe. A little while later, I'm getting groceries during the gay pride parade and I step out of the store to see him pass by holding hands with another man. Maybe it was a doppelganger, but there's always going to be a part of me that thinks he's having gay affairs. I know my parents had their friend steal and blow up their Mustang in 1994 for insurance money. They don't think I know. This is all the evidence the insurance investigators needed. They came away. Toys. The butcher at my old place of work likes to masturbate with random pieces of meat when he thinks he's alone. He thinks he's alone now. The only sound around is the bee eating me it. Seriously. Though. I'd be worried about getting botulism or something up my pee hole. A coworker is probably going to be fired this week. She verbally abused a resident. I work with people with developmental disabilities and didn't know that the incident was in earshot of another staff. Pretty much everyone knows except her, and I'm okay with that. She's ducking horrible. My fiance made out with and have a handy to one of her college professors before we started dating. I don't give a shit that it happened. But I know she's very ashamed and regretful of it. Edit. Here is the answer. She got really drunk one night when she was at my place. I was outside grilling some food. And I could overhear her crying while FaceTiming with her sister. I know that my brother is into bestiality. After he moved out of our parents' house, I found some old CDs in his room of horses, donkeys, whatever else ducking. There also used to be a horse pasture in front of our house that he would help take care of. He went over there for several hours each day. I don't know for certain, but I think he's ducked a horse or 2. Edit. Great. Now my top comment is about ducking horses. That 2 of my cousins, who are siblings, are actually only half sisters. They have the same mom but different dads. Neither of them had any idea for the longest time. They may know now, but I'm not sure. They both live with my aunt and uncle, but the older sister was actually conceived before my aunt and uncle even started dating. She was 2-3 when they got married. The older one has blonde hair and blue eyes, and the younger one, who looks like my uncle, has dark brown hair and brown eyes. They just blamed it on how the genes worked out. It's not a huge thing at all. But it was kept a secret and I've known for years. Edit. RIP my inbox. Thanks everyone for your replies. It's really interesting to read about so many people's similar situations. To everyone who is personally going through this, I wish you all the best, and just remember that family isn't necessarily dictated by blood relation. Your family is who loves you. My best friend's husband is gay. She knows. It's just him that keeps repressing it like nobody knows, and we keep pretending we don't know. I know my sister is into water sports. She stayed with my family for a few months a while back while her house got worked on and had a slew of gentlemen callers. Well, one day I needed to do a dinky spray, so I knocked on the door to the bathroom. I heard scrambling and shuffling and my sister said, "I'm in here. Come back in a minute." I said I would wait and she flipped her sheet. So I lied and said I would go away and did a fake foot stomp, and then the door opened and there she was. In a towel, smelling of piss, with this guy Derek from this shitty local pop punk band. I thought nothing of it until my best friend died a week and a half ago. When I got home from watching him die in the hospital bed, I hid in the shower to cry since my dad hit me the last few times I cried for not being a man. I had the curtain shut and was just in there silently weeping. Suddenly the door opened and slammed shut and I heard my sister and this guy Dolphin, his name is Alan but they call him Dolphin, removing their clothes and him saying, "Hurry, I'm gonna burst." And she said something like, "Ooh baby, I cannot wait to taste your hot piss." They ripped the curtain open to reveal me, sobbing like a monster in between vape ribs. I saw my sister and her lover nude. They screamed. I screamed. I ran out of the house and slept in the garage. A few days later she asked if I heard anything and I said no, I was too busy mourning the loss of the greatest man I ever knew. But I can put two and two together. My sister likes to get pissed on by random fellas. My super knee-jerk liberal friend, who gets all bent out of shape at every single violation of political correctness, has Senator Ted Cruz for a brother-in-law. He doesn't want anyone to know. But I know. While my friend was in the war, he had to shoot a small child who was strapped and running towards them. He never told me about it personally, which is why I consider it a secret. But another friend told me and said how emotionally damaging it was for him. I can't imagine carrying that burden of guilt. He doesn't know it. But I grieve for him. In 2004 I got my first job at Togo's. A few weeks in, one of my co-workers and met up after hours at work. He was selling me a guitar amp. Anywho, after the transaction I noticed a car parked behind Togo's. It was 12 AM and this particular Togo's closed 8 PM Sundays. Seemed odd. Sneaked close enough and saw my boss ducking one of my, at the time, underage co-workers. She was 17 at the time. Boss was in his 40s. My bosses would regularly go into the restaurant with his wife and 2 kids. Piece of shit. 6 months later, I was grandfathered into the work drama of the same co-worker having an unwanted pregnancy, which she eventually terminated. She was 18 by now. The boss's wife was also pregnant and he had another child later that year. John L. If you're reading this, you're a piece of shit and I know. My co-worker King Dong is clearly sitting on the toilet in his LinkedIn profile pic. We know because there is unique tiles that only can be viewed while you're on the ITER and you can make out a hinge in the photo. It has been unverified if he's wearing pants or not. I found out one of my close friends is a full-on furry. I was having to work as banquet staff during a furry convention when I heard a familiar voice behind me asking for more toasted ravioli. I instantly knew the voice but pretended not to know him and just kept working. So fast forward to a week later and I'm picking him up from his place for a party. I called to say I'm up front like most people and got no answer. So I decided to knock and get him rolling. Just as my hand is grabbing the knocker I can hear moaning. That's when I made the dumbest decision to look in the window at the top of the door. Here he is in full furry suit riding a Mandingo-sized bright red dog pen 15 shaped dildo. I bolted off that front step like someone was shooting at me. I called him an hour or so from the party and just told him sorry I forgot to pick him up. Still good friends, but I will never forget a human-sized blue and electric green husky riding a giant big dig in his living room. My uncle got extremely drunk at a family Christmas party 2 years ago and whispered in my ear that my mom and dad had not actually met at a Bible study group like they always told me, but doing mushrooms at a Grateful Dead concert. I was digging through my brother's bedroom nightstand looking for rolling papers and found his stash of Polaroids. It was cool at first. I ogled a few of his ex-GFs and got to see them naked. Then a nude of him appeared. He's got a big dig like a horse. Try as I might, I cannot scrub that image from my head. My ex-female roommate liked to sneak into my room and sniff my dirty boxers. I know this because I set up a camera after I noticed things were moved around. Needless to say, awkward sex happened afterwards. But doesn't matter. Had sex. One of my friends lived in an abusive home and his father only divorced the abusive mother after years of this going on. He has no idea I know. I only found out through his stepbrother when I asked why the parents divorced. If he knew I knew, we probably wouldn't be friends. He'd think it's a pity relationship. The dad of a guy at my job won mega for like $34 million. It's not that big a deal given that it's not actually him, but everyone thinks his dad probably gave him a cool million or two. Although you wouldn't know by looking at him. I have this married couple whom I'm friends with both. But I'm closer to the bride. I know that she has cheated on him multiple times with at least 2 different guys. 2 guys I know of. Probably there's more. And I also think, but don't know for a fact, he's cheating on her too. At the very least I know that he lied about a vacation he took with his friends. No. His friend didn't get a big bonus from work that involves extra ducking vacation tickets for a couple of friends. Edit. Changed some stuff for more vagueness. Cause this is not a throwaway. Edit 2. From the responses I got, want to clarify one point. I know that the husband lied about his excuse to go on a vacation with friends. I don't know for a fact that he cheated unlike the bride. One of my friends has leukemia. Can't tell him I know due to the fact that he hates pity friendships or pity in general. This would most likely end our friendship. My friend's brother abused one of our friends. Another friend's brother raped one of our friends. The sisters don't know about their brothers. My mom, before meeting my stepdad and after divorcing my dad, ducked a lot of random people on the internet. She also doesn't think I know about all the constant nudes and cyber and etc. Kind of a dead giveaway when a duck buddy stays the night. Mom. I actually resented her for a long time because of it. And I'm still really weirded out and upset by it. I also know she smokes cigarettes. And I'm sure she partakes in an occasional joint. I also know she thinks I'm going to be an absolute nothing. Just like my dad. And I will ever amount to anything. I used to watch people's houses and work in them, and one night the power went out in one of their houses. I was searching for a flashlight so I could see. While reaching through a drawer in the parents' bathroom thinking one would be there. I found a 10" vibrator and turned it on by accident thinking the button on the bottom was the switch for the light. It started vibrating and I dropped it out of sheer fear. Weirdest night of my life. Edit. 10 inches not 10 feet, very big mistake. I was doghouse sitting for my cousin and his wife who are super religious right-wing type people. One day the dog was tugging on something under their bed and I yelled for the dog and he ran out with a giant red dildo. So I freaked and picked it up with a paper towel and went to find out where he got it from, and I found a big box full of weird bondage gear. Ball gags. Whips. Wigs, more vibrators. Tons of kinky shit. Just goes to show you never know what goes on behind closed doors. I know that my boss lurks on Reddit. Knows my username. And occasionally looks at what I post. Every few months or so he'll bring up something I posted a while ago in conversation. Some friends of mine who would never take advantage of anyone nonetheless dosed themselves with roofies and water to see what it was like. Druggies, not rapists. They asked me to chaperone the date for them to make sure that they didn't do anything stupid. 2 of the 3 guys just sat on the couch and said dude over and over. For a few hours. The other guy pulled out his laptop to show me all the nail porn he'd made with his girlfriend at the time. None of them know that happened to this day. I just said that they all say they're for the afternoon. When I was kid, my mother, my older brother and I went to Florida to visit my aunt and her boyfriend. It seemed weird because the whole trip we didn't see him, but no biggie. We were there a week and it was an awesome trip. The real reason we went was she needed help moving out of the house and back to our home state. Because she got caught sleeping around with the boyfriend's son. She has no idea that I know. My dad has a VIP access card to a gay cabaret in Phoenix. where he travels often for work. He's happily married with 4 kids. My boss is getting fired Friday and I'm taking his job over on Monday. Last weekend he was moving in the house he just bought with his 8-month pregnant wife. I was at a party once and I got talking to a friend of mine who ended up saying he thought he might be bi. I know it sounds weird to say he might not know what he himself told me, but he has a really crappy drunk memory and he'd had a fair bit to drink. Haven't said a single word on the subject since. Edit. Okay, for clarification, it isn't like when he told me this I didn't say anything back. We had a decent conversation about it. The details of which I can't honestly remember very well since I'd had a bit to drink too. I obviously don't know the specifics of the conversation state of inebriation, but it sounds like he trusted you enough to broach the subject. Drunk or not. I try and bring it up with him discreetly. It could be something that's really bothering him and would be glad to talk about it to someone. Again. Really don't know. But it could be worthwhile. The executive director of the company I work for is having an affair with his assistant. That married guy that gave me his number last year has a fetish for young, but hopefully legal, Asian girls.